In today's review, I'm going to show and explain a little bit about the features of the new Zeiss Victory V8, the biggest model in the lineup, 4.8 to 35 by 60. This is top of the range model in this Victory V8 line of scopes. And what was really funny, this scope was introduced in the middle of the year, so it was not shown for the first time at EVA or SHOT Show like it is usual. And then it was postponed a couple of times before the deliveries started. The demand for this scope was huge, and it still is, since it is the only premium hunting scope with such a high magnification. It is the only scope at the moment which offers 60mm objective lens. At Zeiss they claim that this is the best rifle scope they made in history. It offers almost 8x zoom and all their latest and most modern technologies, like FL concept, that means fluoride lenses, HD concept, that means high light transmission rate glass, so it offers 92% of light transmission, and this is really an achievement in a super zoom class. It also offers really great resolution and bright picture even at magnification 30 or 35. This is something which is unparalleled at the moment. It offers the smallest illumination dot of any rifle scope, only 3mm on 100 meters. So that means that the dot covers only 3mm. What is even more interesting is that the dot is fully daytime usable, so it's daytime bright, even though in a scope like this is not really something what a shooter or a hunter would need, but still, why not? The illumination can be, however, set to really dim settings for the use in low light. The scope is big, as you can see, due to the really big objective lens and due to high magnification. So it is the biggest Zeiss scope at the moment, since they don't produce the 6 to 24 by 72 scope. It is more than 40 centimeters long and it weighs almost 1 kilogram, a little bit less. This is due to the massive objective lens with a 60mm diameter. The scope is made in Germany, in Wetzlar. It comes with a 10 years warranty, also really nice manual for the new ASV competition turret. It offers roughly 1.3 meter of internal elevation at 100 meters. It has a new ASV competition turret, like I mentioned, and it has a 36mm tube, so the majority of scopes will most probably be mounted with an internal Zeiss ZM-VM rail or Zeiss M rail, like they say. But the scope manufacturers do seem to keep up with the pace, because majority of them already introduced 36mm rings for this scope. I would say that most probably rail mounting is easier and better than ring mounting. The reticle is in the second focal plane. This is also the first high magnification scope in the Victory V8 line which offers two reticles, a mil-dot reticle which is called 43 and a normal standard 60 reticle. Both of them have a central illuminated dot. The reticle is really thin, and the dot inside the illumination is controlled by this rotating button. You can set the intensity level here. With the on and off button you turn the illumination on and off. The battery housing is inside of a side focus where you set the parallax. The parallax goes from 50 meters all the way to infinity. It has a click on 300 meters, so you know that this scope is meant for really long range. And the scope itself is really well made. Everything runs smoothly fast focus, the magnification ring, everything works like expected from Zeiss. The turrets are basically the same like on other Zeiss models, which feature ASV long range or ASV plus turrets. So the system is that you zero the turret, which the turrets have zero stop. So when you zero the scope, you set the turret so that it stops at 0. Then they offer different ballistic rings which you can put on depending on what kind of caliber and what kind of ballistic curve you have in your setup of your rifle, caliber, the scope, and so on. What is different by this competition ASV is that the click is only 5 millimeters. So the click is really fine. That means that you can achieve great accuracy. But on the other hand, because the turret only features 100 clicks, that also means that you only have 5 mils or 5 MRAD, 5 milliradian, or 50 centimeters on 100 meters of travel. That means that elevation in this one single turn of this turret is quite limited. So only 5 mils of travel. This is also the reason why the parallax clicks at 300 meters, since majority of these scopes will be zeroed at 300, not at 100. You get 9 different ballistic rings included, and with a simple use of the ballistic calculator or ballistic software on Zeiss web page, you can easily choose the right ring for your setup, for your rifle, for your ammunition, your bullet, and so on. So if I make a short summary, I have to also mention the ASV on the windage. It has really nice clicks. It has a locking mechanism, the same like on the elevation. You have to pull up the turret. Really nice feel. And in general, I would say that these are one of the best ballistic turrets on a hunting scopes. So a short summary, I would say that this is overall a really special scope for long-range hunting. I think that a lot of people will really appreciate the low light capabilities, the brightness of the picture, and extremely good eye box. That means that this scope is really not sensitive to the eye position, even at high magnification settings. Exceptional work. The optics, for a super zoom scope, it is really extremely bright. The light transmission rate is great. So, like expected from Zeiss, almost perfect. On the other hand, the scope is really heavy and big. I would say the 36mm tube is an unusual diameter, and on the other hand, if the scope has a 36mm tube, I think it should have a little bit more of internal elevation. 13 mils or 1.3 meter per 100 meters, this is really not a lot. The second room for improvement is that the elevation of 5 mils or 50 centimeters in one single turn is really not a lot. So on one hand you have optics and magnification and the reticle and everything for long range shooting, but on the other hand the elevation really doesn't allow you a lot of long range shooting if you zero the scope at 100 meters. So you have to zero it at 300 meters and then you can shoot to, let's say, about 700, something like that. Maybe even a little bit further, but really hard to shoot at 1000. That means that this scope is in essence a hunting scope, not a target scope, not an F-class scope or something similar like many people expected. I would really prefer if Zeiss would make a version of this scope with 1 centimeter clicks and 100 centimeters of rotation. This would enhance long-range capabilities of this scope quite a bit. So, thank you for watching. If you will need any additional information, please do not hesitate to send us an email, normally visit our webpage, or use comments on this YouTube channel.